Out here at the State Building, we just finished what I guess was supposed to be a hearing to see if there's a hearing, and it kind of veered off into some odd directions, didn't you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure it was a hearing to be a hearing. The point is, under Nevada law, for the commission to review anything, it has to be done at a public meeting. So I had the commission put on the agenda review of the fight. I felt that there were some issues that happened during the fight that I wanted the commission to be aware of, discuss, and see if perhaps there's anything that needs to be done differently in the future. Need to change any rules, or do we need to change any procedures, either backstage or during the fight? And that was what was on before the commission today, and that's what they heard.
Okay. What do you think? It seemed to me like the claim coming from the Penn camp was they were alleging that you weren't taking it very seriously, or that you were somehow prejudiced in collecting information.
No.
You didn't take that the wrong way, because they were asking, why George St. Pierre hadn't been asked, why there was only certain material pulled from the UFC to watch on video. You didn't take that the wrong way.
No. Everything that the St. Pierre camp sent to me and everything the Penn camp sent to me went straight to the commissioners. Okay. They had everything, and then I also got a copy of the isolated camera in the St. Pierre corner during the fight. The fight, we all saw what happened live as well as it's on video, but there was I needed a special order to get the dedicated shot of the St. Pierre corners. We got that. I gave that to both sides. If they wanted to supplement, they could have. I got that to the commission as well and looked at it. As I said, the night of the fight, it's unfortunate that this is what people are talking about. I understand why they're talking about it. That's why I felt the need to give it to the commission, but that it's not fair to Mr. Penn, it's not fair to Mr. St. Pierre, that this is what people are talking about as opposed to how great of fighters they are.
Right. And you took it seriously that night, because I've never seen you more angry than that night in the cage.
Some people, when you don't agree with them 100%, they're not too happy.
There you go.
If you agree with them 99%.
All right, so what's your gut feeling? What's going to happen here? This was kind of a fact-finding mission, and I think there's some good facts revealed. Should there be a full-scale hearing and investigation?
Of what?
Of Greasegate, and should there be another step now and bring George St. Pierre in? And
I don't see that. I think what's important, if either camp wants to send me anything else, they're free to do it. I'll look at it. The issue here was the actions of Mr. Nurse, and then Mr. Jackson in our laws is responsible as the chief second. That's why they were required to be here. Mr. Penn wasn't required to be here. Mr. St. Pierre wasn't required to be there. There's no allegations, any evidence of wrongdoing on either guy's behalf. Mr. Penn decided to come here. We appreciate that. If Mr. St. Pierre wanted to come, he could have, but he didn't have to do so. Again, the only evidence of any wrongdoing was Mr. Nurse, and then of course Mr. Jackson as the chief second. And they explained themselves today. Whether any of the commissioners want to put this back on the agenda for any type of item is up to them. And we'll see whether they want to do a regulatory change or they want to look at something other aspect of the case. They're free to do so, but that remains to be seen, and that's up to the final round.
There's no shot Nurse could be suspended, anyone could be suspended. You don't think?
I don't think, but I leave that to the commission.
Okay.
And again, if there's any evidence I haven't seen that for any licensee, let's not just limit to Mr. Nurse, but any licensee in the state of Nevada, if there's any evidence of wrongdoing of any licensee that someone brings to my attention, I'll review it.
Was some of the stuff brought up, like, again, we were talking about precautions maybe that can be put in place in the future. Did you hear anything that seemed that maybe that should be in place, or that started to border on kind of ridiculous? I mean, BJ Penn's lawyer mentioned that maybe they should be required to take a shower with a certain kind of soap, and there has to be someone around the guys right before the fight. I mean, is that taking it too far, or is that actually going to be under consideration?
What I was focusing on is the application of the Vaseline. That's what caused this issue in the first place, and whether there should be a situation where only the commissioned doctors or the designated cutmen can do it, as opposed to individual corner people. Another aspect that I've looked at myself is perhaps if you do let individual corner people do it, only one person in that corner is designated to handle the Vaseline, and he cannot touch the fighter anywhere in the body during the fight, other than in the areas where you can add the Vaseline to the face, and that's it. It doesn't matter if he wipes his hands or he washes his hands or anything. So all those things I think we'll continue to look at and see if there's a way to ensure compliance even better.
This was a long hearing. I mean, there was a lot that came out of it. The early part of the hearing was Karo Parisyan, and
yes.
He pled his case and he kind of begged for mercy. He didn't really get any. He got a little bit because I thought there was something significant there. Well, he got fined $32,000 out of $80,000. That's a lot. He's going to be out 9 months now, basically from early February all the way through. You're looking at November. So that that's some money lost for him. Or was his fight? Am I thinking? Yeah, I think that's right.
That's December.
But the other thing that I think was addressed that will be important in the future, the commission resisted the chance to take away his win bonus, which would have been a full $40,000 plus fining the original $40,000. Do you think that is going to be something that's set down the road that, hey, if you cheat, you may lose your entire win bonus and an additional fine. Not 32 of 80. He could have lost 52 of 80.
Right. And that's a concern. You don't want anyone to benefit due to using any kind of non-approved substances, be it drugs or steroids. So he's still walking away with $8,000 more than had he not won the fight. So if you feel that his use of the drugs helped him win the fight, he did benefit by $8,000, though at least not by $40,000. I know in other sports where if you're caught with that, you're disgorged of any profit you make whatsoever. So that's the concern: is do you want a guy who wins to walk away with more than the guy who loses for the same offense, when that offense may have helped them win the fight? And it's a tough thing. I mean, this commission's always tried to be very pro-fighter, has shown very much, I would say, leniency, especially in these drug cases, but have shown compassion for the fighters, and they could take all the purse. They could take 100% of the purse for every violation they have before them. They don't do that in large part because of the compassion they have for the fighters. So it's a tough road. Again, you don't want to have the fighter benefit from using an illegal substance, but on the other hand, if you take all his money away, are you being overbearing on it? And it's a tough thing. It's not a call I have to make. It's a call the fighter them have to make, and it's a very tough call for them to make, and I'm not sure how I would handle that. I give them a lot of credit for the way they do.
I'm not a legal expert, but I would advise this: the fighters out there watching this for one of the first times, one of these disciplinary hearings, bring a lawyer, because there were a couple things I thought that Karo said that actually hurt his cause, where he said he got out of the cage and then got some clarity after he was out of the cage, which suggested that maybe he was in an altered state, and actually one of the commissioners actually said that, suggested that, well, you're saying you might have been in an altered state during the fight. So I think that went into maybe the lack of complete leniency.
Well, yeah, anyone charged with a disciplinary complaint is free to bring a lawyer if they so choose.
Right. So I thought that was a mistake, and it didn't work out too well for him. So I think there's a clear message that, and the other thing is he did falsify. You have to sign a sheet afterwards that say, before
right.
that say you have not taken anything illegal, and he just signed it and kind of blew it off, and that right there is your proof that, hey, you made that decision. That's your decision.
But at the end of the day, you hope that the fighters learn from this. They pay the price they have to pay for their violations, and then they come back. We've had fighters who've come back stronger than ever, following the rules, and we wish that for Mr. Parisyan as well.
All right, thanks. There you go, Keith Kizer.